Hello wine lovers and the wine curious. If you give me just 10 minutes of your time, we're gonna dive into 4 bottles all from one great region today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because this is your go-to place for everything wine. So join me for this 10-minute tasting. Rioja is one of my go-to wine regions to look for in the fall. It is Spain's finest wine region and such a collectible one at that. The wines of Rioja are based around the grape Tempranillo, but you'll also see it with its blending partners Grenache, Graziano, and Mazuelo. The region of Rioja is divided into 3 main parts. You'll find wines from Rioja Alta, Rioja Alavesa, and Rioja Oriental, all of which are along the Ebro River and its 7 river valleys. Now, it's not just the terroir of Rioja that makes it unique, it's also its aging requirements that make these wines so ready to drink. We have crianzas that are aged for 2 years with a minimum of 1 year in oak. We have reservas, which are aged for 3 years with a minimum of 1 year in oak, and gran reservas, which are aged for a total of 5 years with 2 years in oak and 2 years in bottles. But again, that is just the minimum. Many wineries take it beyond that point, making their wines so unique and ready to drink. So with that in mind, let's taste some Rioja. This is the Bodegas Altanza Reserva 2017. And you know, this is a really unique winery and a unique wine to go with it. Founded in 1998, this is a winery that specializes in reservas, but they also follow the modern style of winemaking in Rioja. This is a 100% Tempranillo wine that has been aged for 18 months in French oak barrels. And it's very vineyard specific too. You can see that there is just this beautiful coloring to it, kind of almost this deeper, almost into purple style. And then we get into the nose. Those vanilla kind of cherry tones in there. Honestly, it almost reminds me of a little bit of cherry cola, which is not a bad thing. With those earthy qualities of Rioja and those kind of dried fruit notes to it, really quite lovely. On the palate, I love watching Tempranillo shine, more medium embodied, definitely showing that level of medium tannins, a little bit of grip. Those cherry berry notes are in there too, and it has quite a refreshing and easy finish. This is a great wine. If you want to go all Rioja, all red, all night long, I would open with this one because it's juicy and it's fun and it'll go with a great opener. Next up, we have the La Rioja Alta Vineyardanza 2016 Reserva. So this wine is 1 year older, and it comes from a very historic winery, part of the historic Haro Station district within Rioja. It's one of the wineries that has really defined the region. The wine itself has been aged for 36 months in barrels, and it's a blend of Tempranillo and Grenache at an 80-20 split. So let's get into this wine itself. Just looking at it in the glass, it is a lot lighter in color. I can see my manicure through the wine, although it does look quite bold when I hold it up like this. So let's get into the nose. This is definitely more of a traditional style Riojas. Traditional style Riojas tend to be more spice leading, and that's exactly what you get with this wine. There are baking and spices with a little bit of earthiness and leather in there. You get these almost dried fruit notes and dried floral notes too. Let's get on to the palate. A very well done wine. It almost has this kind of softness and ease to it from all of that oak aging that went into it. And it's a delightful wine that brings those kind of spice notes onto the palate as well. With that in mind, I would love to drink this wine alongside a nice roast chicken dinner with a little bit of like squash and potatoes in there. The spiciness of this wine will go great with the sweetness of that vegetable and make a match of a pairing. This is the Lopez de Heredia. Viña Bosconia Reserva 2013. Now, this is a very historic winery. It was started in 1877, and it's one of the most storied wineries within Rioja itself. They are committed to doing traditional made wines within the region. And you know what? This wine has been aged for 5 years in barrels, which is the same level that you would age a standard Gran Reserva, and this is their Reserva level. At the 2013 vintage, this is coming from their El Bosque vineyard. Viña Bosconia sister wine is Viña Tendonia, which a lot of people know about. However, this wine is seen as more Pinot-like, and you definitely do get that. When you look into the glass, it does have a little bit lighter of a tone, very nice kind of like garnet ruby red vibe. When we get into the aromas, what they mean by saying Pinot-like is when you look to older Burgundy wines from France, you get this kind of fruit and earthiness connecting within the glass, and you get that within this wine as well. There are cherry notes, there are prune notes, but there's also this intense earthiness and this kind of soft feeling of subtle wood notes. Let's get onto the palate. A well done wine, that just makes me smile. This is the kind of wine that if you want to spend all day making a dish, this is the wine that could go with it. And it could go with so many different dishes. If you want to prepare a duck at home, pair it with this wine. If you would like to do a really long and roasted eggplant dish, pair it with this wine. If you want to do the baked pasta of your dreams, pair it with this wine. It's a beautiful job with Viña Bosconia. All right, we have the Bodegas Valemar, Conde Valdemar Gran Reserva Rioja from 2010. Now, I know the names of these wines can be quite long. There's a lot of heritage in each and every single one of them, but we've listed the names of the wines right down below, so don't forget to check them out. And this wine in itself is truly a way to taste the past. It is from the 2010 vintage, and we're gonna get into it, but a little bit about the winery first. Bodegas Valemar was started in 1889. It is one of the largest wineries within the region of Rioja. It's quite storied as well. They have 5 generations working within this winery, and they have made their wines from their own vineyards. This is a wine that blends Tempranillo, Graziano, Granacha, and Mazzuello, and it's been aged in both French and American oak barrels for 36 months. They have held on to this bottle and released it now in 2024. So we have a 14-year-old wine. In terms of the coloring, you know, you get a little bit of that bricky color kind of coming in through the glass, but there is still a lot of vibrancy, especially in the color of this wine. It's not overaged just yet. Let's get on to the nose. But you do get that softness of age on the nose. There is this just ease of fruit notes, this almost soft, almost potpourri kind of note. Little bit of leatheriness, almost like that jacket that you love, that you've worn forever. And there's a little bit of toastedness to it too. Let's get onto the palate. On the palate, we have a very expansive wine, incredibly lifted and bright for its age, but you get these nice tannins that kind of come right on in. If you want to pair this with something, I would recommend going with a steak. If you want to pair this with something, you can also do a pork belly. If you want to pair this with something, you can also do a great like pumpkin agnolotti pasta. Or if you want to pair this with something, you can do a chocolate dessert. As long as it's not too dark chocolatey, a little bit more on the milk chocolate side, you will have a great time with it. And enjoy the 2010 vintage. I cannot believe this tasting is over because I truly love Rioja wines. They are incredible quality productions, and honestly, you will be surprised at the price of these bottles. Just check the links right down below on where to get them. They're absolutely fabulous, and I'm sure that you will fall in love with the region of Rioja just as I have. So let me know down in the comments below if you've tried any of these wines before, what you would pair them with, and if you are just as much in love with Rioja as I am. Cheers, everyone.